What about Canada's sale of weapons
That's it.
to Saudi Arabia while you're calling for a war crimes
That's
investigation?
the end of the press conference. Thank you.
I'm happy to take a final question, but it's actually, you know what? I'm rewarding bad behavior. I'll reward good behavior instead. How's that? The shouting out. Go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am.
Ask another accountability question. I wanted to ask. I've seen you quoted, Minister Burt, about the bombing of Yemen by the Saudi-led coalition, saying that it should be entirely up to the Saudi-led coalition, or at least in the first instance, to investigate it. Some people say that's not really working out, that they've investigated less than 5% of the reported bombings of civilians. What would you say in terms of accountability for the many civilians killed in that bombing campaign for which the UK sells weapons to Saudi Arabia? Thanks.
Finding a resolution to the conflict in Yemen is a very high priority of all of us at the Foreign Office and all of us in the Department of International Development who are providing support for the people of Yemen, facing cholera and malnutrition as a result of the conflict. We want to see the conflict brought to an end. We're working with all parties and using all our diplomatic efforts to do so. Those who have been responsible for investigating, we have a process, they have a process to look extremely carefully at all the allegations that are made about who has been complicit, who has taken part in actions which have resulted in civilian death or injury. We still believe that that investigative process is the right and appropriate thing. It must be thorough, it must meet international standards of investigation, and although it's difficult, we believe that that is the right process. But it's very important that we recognise that the only way to bring this to an end is through a negotiated political settlement. We wish to encourage parties towards that end, and we're continuing to bend all our diplomatic efforts because ending the conflict is the most important thing, and that's what the United Kingdom will be determined to try and achieve.